the 32nd Spring Hill College Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. This year we're honoring the class of 23, and we have a great group of people going in. Some of the best athletes in Spring Hill College history. At this time, I want to bring up our president, Dr. Mary Van Brunt, to do the official welcome.
Thank you, Joe. It's so great to see so many people here supporting our incredible inductees. And I first just want to start by congratulating all of you. And I will tell you, I actually was a college athlete, played lacrosse when I was Division III. I was not very good though. I would never be sitting in this seat. And I will say though, you know, I was in the best shape of my life. And my husband tells me probably once a month, were you really a college athlete? Because I seem to have lost all coordination that I had. But what I did learn, even though I wasn't, you know, the best on the team like this group here, I learned, you know, leadership skills. I learned teamwork, the camaraderie, you know, with my fellow athletes. And, you know, we've been out of college 36 years, and they're still on a text constantly. I sometimes think I'm the only one still working, you know, but they're still my lacrosse friends. It's just such an incredible connection. So I want to thank you, you know, for all you've done while you were here at Spring Hill and for continuing that connection. It means, you know, so much to the college, and, you know, it's really part of what we focus on with our mission. It's that whole person, and, you know, the athletics is a big piece of that. And, you know, we focus on, you know, trying to make sure it's the best student experience that they can have in the classroom and outside of the classroom. And athletics is a key part of it. So, you know, we have a lot of ideas and excitement for the future and what we can do to improve that athletic experience. So I just want to thank again everyone for being here, for your past support for Spring Hill, your future support for Spring Hill, and really honoring our inductees. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the chair of the Hall of Fame committee, Mr. James Rybarczyk.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you all for being here. I get so excited when I see all these people here supporting athletics. I've been chairman of the Hall of Fame banquet for many years, but each year I get so excited having this banquet to see all these people come back to Spring Hill to honor our inductees. And right now I'm going to introduce our inductees. We have 7 inductees and 1 team being inducted today. I'm going to ask them all to stand. I'll call them out and they stand, and let's just save our applause to after we finish all the calls. First one is Jeff Burge of the class of 1994. Joe Imorty of the class of 61. Lindsay Stuarty Weems, the class of 83. Tony Younger, he'll be visiting us from Israel via video. Monica DeSilva Kelsey. Jennifer Cunningham Crochet, who's passed away, and I'm asking her family who are here on her behalf to stand. Coach Kobe Mackin, and the inaugural 1998 softball team. They would all stand. They're here. Let's give them a round of applause. Hall of Fame members in the audience to stand up if they would. Tonight I also want to acknowledge our Spring Hill College Board of Trustees. I just want you to know that we really appreciate everything you do for athletics, and I want to give you guys a big hand. And also, I have a great committee for the Hall of Fame. We meet regularly, and we go through a lot of work to find the right candidates, and there's so many worthy candidates, and I would just ask that my committee members, if they would please stand if they're here tonight. And right now, I'm going to introduce Father Viscardi. He's a professor and chair of the philosophy and theology department, to give the convocation.
I'm going to start this benediction prayer with a quote from Paul's letter to the Corinthians. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 9, where the apostle St. Paul talks about athletes as a model for our own lives. Do you not know that the runners in the stadium all run in the race, but only one wins the prize? Run so as to win. Every athlete exercises discipline in every way. Thus, I do not run aimlessly. I do not fight as if I were shadow boxing. No, I drive my body and train it, for fear that after having preached to others, I myself should be disqualified. God our Lord, we give you thanks for gathering us together as we celebrate our Hall of Fame. We give thanks for friendships and achievements, for sharing memories of the past and hopes for the future. We give thanks for the blessings of companionship, discipline, and dedication that have grown out of our years as athletes and teammates. Finally, we give thanks for the mystery of your presence among us now, as we gather together at our alma mater to share this meal that nourishes our body, mind, and spirit. And together we pray with gratitude. Bless us, O Lord, in these thy gifts that you're about to receive from thy body, through Christ our Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
All right, you can begin eating. we had a couple, or at least one Hall of Fame committee member sneak in here. James Brandyberg is in the back there. Could you please stand, James? We also have from current student athletes, and I'd like them to stand. We have women's softball and Coach Hannah Littberg. Could you guys please stand? We have some of our men's and women's tennis players. Please stand. Coach Kennedy and the men's basketball, some men's basketball players. Coach Pressel and the women's basketball team. And Coach Bullington and some of the men's baseball players in the back. Just kind of wanted to get that, introduce those people, get it out of the way. But before we get started here, just, part of doing the Hall of Fame is an expression of gratitude towards the athletes that spent a lot of time here. Being a student athlete takes a lot. The NCAA kind of keeps us at 20 hours a week, but there's much more that goes into it in the time they play. And on top of the 15 or 18 or 16 hours they're taking of class. So for those that excel, it's really a big deal because they put in a lot of time. And they don't put that time in just during their season. They do it year round. And sports has become a year-round endeavor. So for these people to excel at the level they did, it's good for the college to express their gratefulness. Our first inductee was a member of the men's baseball team in the early 90s, Jeff Berg. And I just got here when Jeff and that group was finishing a great run. And for those of you that were here in those days, you remember the wall along the first baseline. It used to be absolutely rocky when they would play. And Jeff was a big part of that team. And
Jeff Berg. Jeff Berg, class of 1994. Berg starred for the Badgers baseball program from 1991 to 94. Jeff was a key member of the 1992 District 30 championship team and still holds multiple top 5 spots in the Spring Hill College baseball record book. Berg has a career batting average of .337 and recorded a single season high .422 average during the 1992 championship campaign. He also led the 1992 team, considered one of the best in Spring Hill history in nearly every offensive category. The 3-time All-Gulf Coast Conference selection batted in 53 runs during the 1993 season for a total of 140 runs batted in during his career on the Hill. Berg is considered one of the best all-around baseball players in Spring Hill College history. Congratulations, Jeff Berg, on your induction into the Spring Hill College Athletic Hall of Fame.
Thank you, everyone. I wrote some things down tonight. I don't know if I'll follow it all, but I have some stories to tell and some stories I can't tell from my 4 years here. But this is an unbelievable honor for me. I would have never thought I'd ever have the opportunity to do this and be a part of Spring Hill College community. I think back to my time, and I was a walk-on. I didn't get a scholarship. Nobody recruited me, anything like that. I walked on. I eventually got to start. Then we won conference. We go to regionals. My last game, from coach telling me at times that I needed to get a little better, but not those words, to dislocating my shoulder my senior year, but eventually being able to come back and play. I don't necessarily remember every game, every at-bat. Some people do. That's not what I remember. These are a few things that I do remember, both on the road and the atmosphere at the pit. Shoney's Buffet before games. As Coach Joe said, fans on the wall, and hanging out at Quinlan occasionally. Maybe a desk fell out of there occasionally, but most of the time everybody stayed in there. The road trips where we got a slab of cheese from Marriott, ham and turkey on these road trips, and you had one packet of mustard. And you had to eat in between the double headers. We didn't have 9-inning games. We played 7-inning games. Coach was always very generous. Spring Hill was very generous. If we won, we got to go to Mr. Gaddy's. If we lost, we went to McDonald's. And we had a $5 limit at McDonald's. I know it was 30 years ago, but still. The other thing about Coach, which I have never figured out, and I don't know my guys in table 16 know, but Coach would know what we did the night before, even before we did it. I don't know what it was, but he knew, and he'd just be smiling as you walked in and out of cloud practice. So, playing in 9-degree weather up in Montgomery because we needed those 2 wins against Faulkner. We had to have those. And then, of course, beating William Carey and Mobile College every year that we could. And a little shout out to the basketball guys. We love getting together and watching y'all play and getting into St. Paul's gym and even the parties at the Cabana or Lemoyne. The stories are endless. They really are. One thing that's always been the same, and it wouldn't change 1 second in my 4 years at Spring Hill. What makes it memorable especially are the guys at table 16. 30 years later, we still, we can clap for at least a few of them. And I'll mention them in a little while, but 30 years later, we still talk. Some of the guys talk more than others. Some like certain teams more than others, but when it comes down to something like this, they're always here for us. Spring Hill's been a special place in my heart, not just because of baseball, because of the education and the lifelong friends. Now, I have to tell this story. It's kind of important. It might be good for all the young guys if they're looking to play beyond this sport or beyond the school. I was a good player when I was young. Not great, but solid little baseball player. I went to high school at Brother Martin High School in New Orleans. Made the 8th grade team for baseball. Thought that was great. I'm starting my baseball career. Had a decent season, not great. Thereafter, 9th grade comes up, they have another tryout, I get cut. Told me I wasn't good enough. So of course, I'm a 14-year-old kid, I'm devastated. How can this happen? I've always been an all-star, I'm great, whatever. Nonetheless, I kept playing, went out for the JV team, made it as a sophomore. So at this point, I'm thinking, I'm going to play varsity the next 2 years. Maybe I'll get an offer. I'll go play somewhere like LSU or Alabama or wherever else. So I come to my junior year, and I get cut for varsity. And I'm like, what's going on? I don't understand. I had a good sophomore year. So the coach that cut me was not the same coach that coached American Legion baseball. He picked me up. I had a great season junior year, my summer of junior year. Everything's great. So I'm like, I'm in. Fall comes, and I get an opportunity to play travel baseball. The travel baseball wasn't the same in 1989. okay? Not huge like it is. So I got with a bunch of guys that played varsity baseball, and we would play a lot of JUCOs, and Spring Hill always played us in the fall. So there was a couple of guys on the team I already know. Another guy, David Cresson, he's not here tonight, couldn't make it, and Paul Chasson. Those two guys I knew. So David Cresson, being a lifelong friend, talked me up to Coach Sims, and Paul Chasson was a pitcher, came off a great year. Anyway, Paul comes up to me as I'm walking on the field. I'm like, maybe this is my chance. Maybe I'll get, I'll do pretty good. Chasson comes up to me and goes, Berg, come here. 82, fastball, middle of the plate. I'm like, yeah, right. I go up to bat first time, 82, belt high, fastball, I hit it off the old net, double. Comes up the next time, throws me another perfect fastball, 82, in the gap. I'm like, I can't believe this. So after that, Coach Sims comes up to me and says, look, we don't have any scholarships, but if you want to walk on, come on in the fall if you come to this school. And at that time, I had an academic scholarship to Loyola. Anyway, I, of course, go back to Brother Martin feeling pretty good. I just got kind of an offer from a college. Okay? I get cut again. They said I wasn't good enough, couldn't help the team. Of course, that coach was fired after the 1990 season. Anyway, I started to prepare, and I keep working, and came to Spring Hill. And coach was great, gave me an opportunity, really worked hard, and got onto the team. Coach allowed me on the team. No scholarship, I had work study, which was good because work study was to rake the field, and if you're a walk-on, you rake the field. So it was a good little situation for me. So at some point during my freshman year, I get an opportunity to play. I come in, and my first collegiate at-bat's a home run, right on the side of the net, 212 feet, whatever it was, about a net, but it went over. I got to play a lot the rest of my freshman year, got to start my sophomore year, and kind of the rest is history. I do want to mention a few things. You saw some of those pictures. I clearly don't look like I did back then, but it's still nice to remember. In 1992, we won the whole thing, which was a big deal because we hadn't won it in a long time here. Coach Sims was maybe in his 7th year here, and we won it all, and they had the press clippings, we're doing this, and the Mobile Press Register writes, Berg is batting .422, which would be a school record if it wasn't for Kevin Grimes' .482. And every newspaper article that whole season said that. And you know what? I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, I thought I was doing pretty good. But the good thing about Kevin Grimes was he was a great teammate, and we were winning, so it really didn't matter. So we continued to win, and at the end of the 94 season, I was lucky enough to be awarded the Male Athlete of the Year, which was a big deal to me. It's a big deal at this school, and if you work real hard, you obviously can achieve that, and that was a very special award that I had. Important here is that I've never stopped dreaming about playing baseball, and all these young guys and others, just keep working, you're going to get your opportunity. You will. And, Tom Brady said it, look, when you get your opportunity, don't mess it up. Make the most of it. So, want to thank a few people before I step away from the podium. First person I want to thank is Paul Chasson for throwing me 2 fastballs in the fall. That was big for me. David Cresson, who's not here, he's a lifelong friend, wrote something nice on Facebook about me, and it's just, he's been with me since we were 7 years old. He had a lot to do with me coming here. It's a pleasure to be in the same room with Blake Stein, a Hall of Fame guy, as well as Joe Stutz from that 92 team. I mentioned Kevin Grimes, Tim McCoo, Dave Weems, Rob O'Regan, Bill Horton, Matt Randall, Steve Keena, and even Justin Foltz. I have to thank him. If y'all don't know him, y'all are lucky he's not here. I want to thank Dan Divis, my roommate, who couldn't be here. He's one of the best wiffle ball players from Chicago that I know. Phil Kane, who was a great player, friend, and mentor, even though I took his job for a short time when he was a junior and he took the ball out my glove at William Carey, and he knows what that's about. I want to thank Spring Hill College, the Hall of Fame committee. Thank you. Thanks everyone that's on the committee. I know there's a lot of y'all here for electing me into this select fraternity. This award is as much about what I did as it is about all the people in my life that helped me along my way. Last few thanks, I want to give a special thanks to Coach Sims for giving me a chance. Not many people would have. You did. Thank you. I'm glad you did that. I wouldn't be up here without you. My mom and dad, obviously, taught me about being gritty and tough and never giving up. Without them, I wouldn't be here, obviously. And last but not least, my family. My wife and daughter can't be here, unfortunately, but my sons Matthew and Evan are here. My family keeps me young and on my toes. I love them and thank them for being here. Again, I can't thank everybody enough. This is a great honor, and I'm humbled by this award, all these people that are here, and all the other Spring Hill College Badger greats. Thank you. Thank you.
Next gentleman to be inducted is, you'll hear in the bio that he was part of the revival of tennis here. And one of our members of the committee, Jack Gleason, was his big advocate. The problem was we didn't really have great records to know what really happened. So we just don't want to put somebody in the Hall of Fame because he's well liked. Be a lot of people in the Hall of Fame. But he revived tennis, really. He was the key man to revive tennis at Spring Hill. We had a great tennis program back before World War II, actually beat Big Ten champ Northwestern, but then we kind of went in the tank. But in 1959, 58, this guy arrived on campus.
Joe Immorti, class of 1961. Joe Immorti competed for the Badgers tennis program from 1958 to 61. He was a part of the tennis revival at Spring Hill. As a freshman, Immorti helped Spring Hill College rebound from a disappointing 1-12 squad in 1957 to go 8-4 in 1958. During Immorti's 4 years on the Hill, the Badgers tennis program held an impressive 38-9 record, including wins over the likes of Alabama, Southern Miss, Troy, and Louisiana. He holds a 29-18 career record in the #1 singles spot. He was also standout in doubles with teammate Bill Tordella. Joe excelled off the court as well, holding the position of SGA Vice President from 1959 to 61. He was a member of the Alpha Sigma Nu, the Jesuit Honor Society, and Who's Who for scholarship and leadership achievement. After graduation, Joe was one of the 3 principals that started the largest class endowment scholarship supporting Spring Hill College, the Class of 61 Endowed Scholarship, which is now in its 19th year. Congratulations, Joe Immorti, for your induction into the Spring Hill College Athletic Hall of Fame.
It's tough, really tough, following a baseball player and a lawyer. But I do want to thank the college, the athletic department, the selection committee, and especially, as Joe said, Jack Gleason, who a little bit known to me was my advocate. We have worked together a lot. We graduated together. He's a member of the select group, so I'm very appreciative of that. I have many memories of Spring Hill. One I'm trying very difficult to process right now, because I would come up here every day and every night to study. And looking at this is just not processing. But I love it. I had many memories, but none better than the 1961 season. And that's when we did beat the University of Alabama twice, Southern Mississippi, and went on for an undefeated season. And so I always felt like starting it with no wins and ending with all wins, that it was an honor to be a part of that group. And for this reason, I'd like to accept this honor really on behalf of the team. It was a team effort. They played so beautifully. One of the pictures up there showed them. Otto Halbeth. Otto is still in Southern California. He's not playing any tennis anymore, but he's a lawyer. Bill Tordella, who is deceased, and was a great player in New York. Anson Moy became a very well-known doctor, and I think is deceased. Bob Kerrigan, and I was talking to Jeff about Bob. He's a lawyer in New Orleans, and a really good player. Came on in my junior year, and was a great asset to the team. And then Gene Galvin. So I do appreciate everything that these guys did. They put everything out on the line every match, and I can remember, I think it was the second to last match of the season where we had to play Alabama for the second time. We were so excited about beating them the first time, so can we do it again? And we did. So, and I guess I should not forget the late Father Schwing. And Father Schwing was our coach. He kept us motivated and out of trouble on road trips. And there's always that tendency. I also wouldn't want to leave the podium without thanking my father, my dad. Himself, he was a player at the University of Indiana, tennis. Somehow managed to send 6 of 10 children, so I've got 9 siblings, here to the Hill. And I thank my brother Jim is here, and his wife. And Dad put a racket in my hand, I think, best I can determine, about age 8. And when I was 80 a few years ago, I never stopped playing the game until a few years ago at age 80. But I really didn't stop playing with a ball. I traded my tennis racket for a pickleball paddle. And I was quite surprised the year after I did that, my partner and I won the Tennessee Senior Olympics for our age group. And I'm still playing twice a week. So I talked to Madam President earlier that we need pickleball lines on those 4 courts out there, and it would be a genuine hit right away, I can tell you. My son graduated from here in 1993. He played tennis at a high level and played here, and is still playing at a high level. And then his son, Henry, which is my youngest, our youngest grandson, is a highly ranked junior in high school. And it's wonderful to watch him excel. Excel is what he does. And let me not, while I was out there playing all these sports and tennis, and also picked up golf, play a lot of golf a couple times a week. Jeff said he thinks maybe that's keeping me young, and I'm going to buy into that. But the other thing that keeps me young is my wife, Margie. And she was there with the kids, I guess, when I was out there playing all these tennis tournaments. And I thank you, hon. So thanks again for this honor, which again I accept on behalf of all the team members that I mentioned. And again, thanks to the university, to the college for everything it gave me in my life. And I appreciate it and thank you.
Our next inductee was a local high school product, big star in a couple different sports, and maybe one of the hardest workers I've ever seen. I always used to tell Coach Sims, if I could get my players to work as hard as this, we'd really be something, because she was in the gym constantly. And but maybe one of the most intuitive point guards I've ever seen. And she's our next inductee, Lindsay Stuarty-Weems.
Lindsay Stuarty-Weems, class of 2000. Lindsay was known for her tremendous work ethic and competitive spirit as she starred for the Lady Badgers basketball program from 1996 to 2000. The scrappy point guard was a two-time All-Gulf Coast Athletic Conference selection while leading Spring Hill to the 1999-2000 GCAC Championship and an NAIA National Tournament appearance. She is a member of the Spring Hill 1,000 Point Club with 1,386 career points. Lindsay also holds several other program records, including 12 single-game assists, 141 single-season free throws made, a 837 single-season free throw percentage. She also holds career records for free throw percentage, 860, and 330 total career steals. Congratulations, Lindsay Stuarty-Weems, on your induction into the Spring Hill College Athletic Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Coach Nyland, Dr. Van Brunt, General Barczyk, and Hall of Fame Committee. Thank you to my family and friends for being here tonight, and congratulations to all the inductees. The Spring Hill roots run deep in our family, and I come from a big Catholic family, so I'm not going to name all the aunts, uncles, and cousins, but I do want to mention two of my biggest fans, both my grandfathers, Aloysius Stuarty and Joseph Perez. And let me tell you, there's no love and support like that of a grandparent. And every referee in town will tell you the same thing. It's also special to share this honor with my grandfather, who was inducted in 1981, and whose plaque hung on the Outlaw Center all those years I was playing. But that's all I'm going to say about Pawpaw, because everybody at this table over here will start crying. So, I feel so incredibly blessed to have grown up in a family that believes in hard work, discipline, as well as the importance of faith and family. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for this gift, and to all my family and friends that are here tonight. I pray every day that Dave and I can instill those same values into our family, our children, Patrick, Joseph, Stuart, John, and Lucy, who didn't make the cut. In high school, my coach, Becky Dickinson, who I love dearly, helped instill these same values, or helped translate those same values to the court. I could not have asked for a better experience than that at McGill-Tilden Catholic High School. One thing I will always cherish from those high school days, in addition to the wonderful friends and teammates, is ending each week with the Irish blessing. May the road rise to meet you, and may the wind be always at your back, which is truly a powerful prayer for an 18-year-old discerning where that wind would lead you.
I've absolutely loved reflecting back on my Spring Hill experience these past few weeks. Believe it or not, Spring Hill was a leap of faith, even though I was just kind of leaping across the street, growing up a mile away. But my entire life, I'd planned on going to Auburn, you know, rooming with my childhood best friend and doing all the things at an SEC school. But later in that senior year, I felt that tug. I think that same tug that so many Spring Hill students and alumni have felt. And I remember Coach Fowler and Coach Walker inviting me for a tour of the campus. And back then, we didn't really have a gym or a locker room, but there was still that peace that this is where I belonged. I still remember walking into the Quinlan Hall gym and meeting the players for the first time. It was an amazing mix of personalities from New Orleans and Louisville, Orlando, St. Louis, and Mobile. And I absolutely fell in love with who would be my best friends over those next few years. Spring Hill was that perfect environment, as Jeff mentioned, the basketball players supporting the baseball players, you know, being crazy at the University of Mobile games every year. It was such a fun environment. Our coaches and professors always pushed us to be our best and would lift us up at our worst. And I remember Dr. Dean and Dr. Culberson in that same seat from the beginning of our game, which was a big deal for a girls' game to get there early. And they would be there the whole time through the men's game and always there to offer that word of encouragement the next day in class. My first 2 years were a pretty humbling experience as I transitioned to the college game, making every freshman mistake a point guard can make. And thank you, Coach Nyland, for leaving out my turnover record that I probably set that year as well. We had some great players over the years, but even better people who truly looked after each other. We made sure everybody had their IDs on the weekends, but more importantly, we made sure everybody was in mass on Sunday nights. And those Sunday nights over those 4 years got me through many tough days, as every college student experiences at one point or another. But it was also a great way to meet your future spouse. As David admitted to becoming very dedicated to that 10 o'clock mass, knowing that we would be there. David and I started dating second semester freshman year, and he was there to support me from that point on. Thank you, Dave. When Coach Fowler took over the reins as head coach my junior year, he had his work cut out for him. We were in a rebuilding mode, but also faced several setbacks and injuries as we suffered a painful 8-23 season. It's amazing how that record just still comes to my lips. He immediately assembled a fantastic coaching staff with Stephen Brown and Dan Pretzel, and Coach Pretzel, who was an amazing athlete here at Spring Hill and ran point guard for our scout team. Dan, thank you for leading that scout team and for taking all those elbows in the back and not complaining all those years. We're so happy to have you back on the hill, leading the Lady Badgers, and we'll be supporting you in this next chapter. And as tough as that 8-23 season was, it lit a fire under our team that set us up for that 99-2000 season. We added a D1 transfer, Jennifer McInnes, and of course our conference freshman of the year, LaToya Baker, who's here tonight. That gave Coach Fowler the additional weapons he needed to work his magic. Of course, my best friend and roommate, Jill Matthias Pretzel, and I would arrive early to practice, stay late, as Coach mentioned, just put any extra work that we could. And whenever you see assist by my record, that equates to Jill and playing with so many great shooters and players all those years. Thank you, Jill, for being the best friend and teammate a girl could ask for. And Coach Fowler, thank you for your dedication, love for your players in the game of basketball. You're a firm believer in the little things and the way the game should be played. Those little things inspired me then and are even a bigger part of my life today, and you can ask those boys sitting right there in the front. But the best part of playing for Coach Fowler was you always knew where you stood. I have two favorite stories, only one I'll tell, but I had a habit of turning to the bench when I'd make a mistake and say, my bad. And I can remember Coach Fowler one game and his best Bobby Knight impersonation. We know it's your bad. The whole gym knows it's your bad. did. We always knew where we stood, and I did eventually stop making that pass. But thank you, Coach, for believing in me and for giving me this opportunity. I would not be here today without you. And thank you all for being here tonight. And as the Irish blessing ends, until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Go Badgers.
Our next inductee is Tony Younger. He was unable to make it tonight. He had planned to come. Tony graduated in 2002 and has played professional basketball in Israel ever since. Last couple of years he's been a coach. Had his hotel rooms and everything was ready to go, and then October 7th happened. And so he, just could not leave Israel. He lives in Haifa, near one of our other former players here, Mickey Gorka. I talked to Tony today. Things have quieted down a little bit, but he did send a video. He sent it at the last minute when he knew he couldn't come. But I'll give you a little background on Tony. I was sitting in my office and I got a call from a good friend, Phil Seymour, who's an assistant at Providence. He said, you need to call Donnie Kent at Monsignor McClancy in New York City. He said, he's got a kid I think you may be interested in. And I knew Phil from back in Buffalo, and he had a good eye for talent. So I called Coach Kent at Monsignor McClancy. He said, well, Joe, I got this kid. He's kind of skinny. He's kind of young. But I think LIU wants him to walk on, but I think he's a better player than walking on somewhere. He said he's got some low Division II offers, but his dad really wants him to stay in a Catholic school. So at that time of the year, it was May, Coach Kennedy at Bowlington, we didn't have recruiting budgets back then either. So my recruiting budget was camp money that I had in the Regions Bank across the street. But by May, because it was also to pay for my kids' Catholic education, by May it was gone. But I had the ace in the hole. There was a guy named Johnny Carley, who is a Hall of Famer, honorary. He owned the Ace Hardware. So I went across to Johnny and I said, I need you to buy a plane ticket for a kid from New York. I think he's going to be a good player. Johnny said, no problem. He buys the plane ticket. We were in the NAI, Chad, wasn't a violation back then. But we didn't have any players here. But we did open the gym on Monday and Wednesday night, and we had a good group of college players and local pro players that came in. So I said, we'll find out if this kid from New York can play or not. So he comes in, about 6'4", skinny, but had the New York City swagger. So we throw him in. I said, we'll find out. We throw him in. Well, about midway through the first game, Jason Caffey, who played with Sean Wright, one of our players, Jason Caffey's a Chicago Bull, NBA player. Caffey throws a pass, Tony steals it. Caffey's not too happy. Here goes this high school skinny kid down the court with a 6'10" NBA player chasing him. Didn't faze him a bit. He lays it off the glass. Caffey doesn't get it, goes in the basket. I turned to my assistant. I said, we'll sign this guy. Every once in a while you get lucky. But Tony Younger is our next inductee.
Tony Younger, class of 2002. The Queens, New York native starred for the Badger men's basketball team from 1998 to 2002. Tony made an immediate impact helping Spring Hill College to the 1998-99 Gulf Coast Conference Tournament Championship and being named the Gulf Coast Athletic Conference Freshman of the Year. During Younger's career, the Badgers won 2 more GCAC titles in 1999 and 2000, and in 2001 and 2002. Appeared in the NAIA National Tournament in all 4 years and advanced to the Elite 8 twice. His other honors include 3-time All-GCAC, Honorable Mention All-American in 1999-2000, and 3rd-Team All-American in 01-02. Younger is a member of the 1,000 Point Club with 1,615 career points. He had 421 assists, 678 career rebounds, and 215 career steals. The 109 wins during his career are the most of any Spring Hill College men's basketball player. Tony went on to a 20-year career as a professional basketball player in Israel. Congratulations, Tony Younger, on your induction into the Spring Hill College Athletic Hall of Fame.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there. I'm here in Israel, where I lived for the past 20 years. And as you know, on October 7th, we experienced our September 11th. So it's a tough time right now. You know, me and my family are still coping with what happened. And it's kind of hard for me to send this because the mental space that I'm in is different. So my heart goes out to all the Israeli people and all the Jewish people affected by this tragedy in Europe and in America, everywhere around the world. With that being said, my journey to Spring Hill was a great one because I got to meet people that influenced me to become the man I am today. Coach Nyland, you know, he installed a mental toughness about all of his players that really brought me to a new level of playing and thinking. He made you really decide if you really love the game of basketball. And I think at that moment in time, being 18 years old, he upped my level of commitment to the game and to myself. And Coach Nyland, you're a great man. I appreciate everything that you've done for me. I'm very grateful, and I love the time I spent at Spring Hill. I honestly do. It seems like yesterday, and I'm sure everybody here on this panel could attest to that. Never in my deepest basketball soul would I imagine giving a Hall of Fame speech. So I'm truly blessed. You know, I want to thank my extended Southern family and all the family of all of my teammates throughout all the years that supported us. You know, it's a big loyal commitment to be with the team, and you love the school, the staff, the teachers. I love you guys. You know, I want to say thank you to everybody who's here. Thank you for Coach Nyland for contacting me and opening up the books and you know, inviting me to such a astronomical just something so pure that I can't bring the words. I really can't. And I'm thankful. I want to thank God, because without the guidance of him, none of this would be possible. My mother and father, my wife and her family, for the moment I stepped here in Israel. You know, my heart forever goes out to them. My family back home in the States, all my friends, I love you guys. I just want to say thank you again, and I appreciate this great honor. Peace.
Inductee was part of the great start to our softball program here, and was a fantastic player, and was, you know, I married a softball player, so I like watching softball and I appreciate the game. No offense to baseball, but it moves at a faster pace. And I really enjoy it. And when we started softball here, it was really a great time to get a women's sport started. And Monica was really just an outstanding player. We'll listen to her story.
Monica Da Silva Kelsey, class of 2002. Monica Da Silva Kelsey is one of the most decorated student athletes in Spring Hill College history. Monica starred for the Badgers softball program from 1999 to 2002. Da Silva Kelsey was a 4-time All-Gulf Coast Conference selection, 4-time member of the NAIA All-Region team, a member of the 1999 NAIA National All-Tournament team, was named first-team NAIA All-American in 2002, as well as being named a Daktronics National Scholar Athlete. She was a key member of the Badgers squad that made 2 NAIA National Tournament appearances in 1999 and 2002. The 1999 squad finished 3rd. With Da Silva Kelsey's help, the Badgers finished in the top 25 national rankings all 4 years. Monica is still ranked in the Spring Hill College softball record book at number 1 with 122 career RBIs, 2nd in career doubles with 45, and is a career leader with 364 assists. Congratulations, Monica Da Silva Kelsey, on your induction into the Spring Hill College Athletic Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Thank you to whoever thought that I was worthy and deserving of such an awesome honor. I'm so very grateful. As most of you have heard each of these people over and over, it's a very common theme with blessed beyond measure and blessed with your teammates and all the support that we got here at Spring Hill. It was such a unbelievable experience, not just playing at a school, and having the opportunity to actually play. I know, Lindsay had mentioned wanting to go D1 and, those things, but here at Spring Hill, we had the opportunity to start on the field right away, which was very desirable as an athlete. But I want those of you who are here because they're making fun of me, that know how nervous I am, to raise your hand if you are here just to support me tonight. So many incredible people here. I could speak about all of them, and I will briefly. Belinda Stein over there was she played at University of Mobile. But Spring Hill didn't have a team at that point, but she was one of Kobe's teammates. She was also my high school teammate, which is how I got to Spring Hill, so thank you, Belinda, for making all of the connections to get me here. Renee is my childhood best friend. We moved to Louisiana. Grew up playing softball with her and her dad and parents. They adopted me for summer ball because my mom was like, I can't do all of that. We have 3 kids. We have all the different obligations that she has. And so Mr. Art said, we'll take her. And so every weekend, pretty much in the summer, I was able to stay with them. I had my godparents here who tried to trick me that they weren't coming, but they showed up. My in-laws, who probably didn't know at the time when they were watching me play, because my husband, Kevin, played baseball at the same time that I did. And they would, come over to some softball games when they were in town, but at the time they probably didn't. Well, I guess 5 years later, 20 years married, that they would be here, supporting both of us. But me tonight, my mom probably should have said you first. She, and like Lindsay says, they instilled such a amazing work ethic, but also faith in each of us. My brother, he made it here from Atlanta. He was drug around all these things and let me practice coaching on him. I was always late before I could drive. I have my friend Lynn here from Tennessee. She's here to represent all my Tennessee support team. My family, obviously, my 3 awesome sons and my husband. Kobe's here with me also, which I'm thankful for as well, because wouldn't be here without her. I'm hoping that I'm not leaving anybody out. So thank all of you, not just for supporting me, you know, during my Spring Hill days, but also just in life in general, not just with sports, but everything. Let's talk about Kobe a little bit with how she pushed us as softball players. I know Colleen over there, she's the one who is here from the first team. She can vouch for all of these awesome stories, but Kobe pushed us not only to be awesome and the best that we could be on the field, but also off the field. And I was shocked that Father Viscardi told the prayer that he mentioned was one that Kobe very often, Kobe and Terry, Coach Terry's here as well, very often reminded us of. And before each game, they would give us a little note card, the handwritten prayer or Bible verse that we would stick in our sock. And I don't know how many times we had that exact prayer, of course much shortened, but run the race to win the prize. But just by those little things, she was reminding us that what's really important. I mean, yes, softball's just a game, but with all of the things that we learn through our sports, not just softball, all of the athletes here and the things that you learn about life through, I mean, you could write a book of all the wonderful things that are instilled in you through these, all of the, you know, the dedication, the time management, just the many things that we all had to juggle. I know that we all prayed a lot, but our prayers went a little to help that Kobe and Terry get sick so we don't have practice today. Maybe, I mean, not speaking from experience, but we all prayed in lots of different ways of such. But there are so many stories, and so many stories like many of us probably can't share. But I'm just so grateful and honored to be up here. Coming back to the Hill, we got to, thanks to Coach, got to celebrate 25 years back in March, and that's when a bunch of us did come down and have a little reunion and get to celebrate the softball team and be with them, which most of them came down for that, so it was hard for them to get here tonight on a Thursday. But it really is, for you athletes that are here now, it doesn't really set in until way later, but it's an incredible experience, and I just hope you take it all in. Thank you all. Just go Badgers. Thank you.
Our next inductee was one of the first players on the first team. I don't know how Kobe was able to find her, but when I saw her play, I was like, wow, it's a great get for a first-year program. And Jennifer Jip Cunningham was an incredible player. And I don't think Kobe at the time knew she was a good pitcher, I'm not sure. But without that group getting us started in softball, which is an amazing story, I'm sure Kobe will share some of that. You know, that group really got us going. And Jennifer was an unbelievably talented athlete. She is deceased, but her family is here and her children. And so now we'll honor Jennifer Cunningham.
Jennifer Cunningham, 1998 to 99. Jennifer Jip Cunningham was a member of the Badgers softball team during the 1998 and 99 seasons. Her 50 wins as a pitcher in the first 2 seasons helped put the new softball program on the map with an 85-32-1 record. As a junior college transfer from Gulf Coast State College in Panama City, the Louisiana native helped lead the Badgers to the 1999 Gulf Coast Athletic Conference title with a 3rd-place finish in the NAIA National Tournament. In her first 2 seasons on the Hill, Cunningham was a 2-time NAIA All-American, 2-time All-Gulf Coast Conference selection, earning NAIA National Player of the Week, Gulf Coast Athletic Conference Player of the Year in 1998, and Gulf Coast Athletic Conference Pitcher of the Year in 1999. Jip is still ranked in the Spring Hill College record, 2nd in career shutouts with 26, and 2nd in career strikeouts with 585. Congratulations, Jennifer Cunningham, on your induction into the Spring Hill College Athletic Hall of Fame.
Spring Hill for having us here today to celebrate this amazing accomplishment of my mom. To know that she was so good at softball makes me feel like that I can do just like her. And to see all these accomplishments that she had makes me so happy for her, and the amount of success that she had was just bewildering to me. And I'm so lost of words right now. I'm so proud of her. She made me so proud to know that she is in the Hall of Fame for this school. And I hope one day that I end up being just like her, and because she was just amazing. She was one of the most hardworking and driving women I've ever had in my life. And she pushed herself like no other, and I'm so happy for her. She was, it's amazing to be pitcher of the year and for college softball, and she did it because she's just amazing. And I can't thank Spring Hill enough for having us here today to celebrate her accomplishment, and I'm so thankful and happy for her, and I hope one day I can just be just like her, and I love her so much. Thank you again.
Our next inductee was the choice to get the softball program started. And I won't go into that story, how Coach Sims selected her, but she was very, very young, and it was amazing. We didn't have a field, we didn't have any players, we didn't have any equipment. But the reason that happened was because we were building a rec center. And Coach Sims was the AD. I happened to be the dean of students and the basketball coach. And we went to the president, Father Ewok at the time, and we said, we got to have 3 courts in the gym. And Father Ewok said, well, right now we look like we're going to put a pool in. I said, we don't need a pool. We got a pool outside near the Badgers. And I said, I just did the EADA report. We need to start another women's sport. And that's a report that goes to Title IX. So we didn't get the 3rd court, we got the pool. So we decided, well, we'll start softball, even though we don't have any place for it. But we took this young coach, and she did an absolutely incredible job. Kobe Mackin.
Kobe Mackin, head softball coach. After a standout career as a college softball player at crosstown rival the University of Mobile, Coach Kobe Mackin was selected to become the first head coach in Spring Hill College softball program history. Mackin led the Badgers for 8 seasons, from inaugural season in 1998 through 2005. Mackin led the Badgers to an amazing 43-17 record during their first season. The second season in '98 was even better, as the Badgers won the Gulf Coast Conference Championship on their way to a third-place finish at the NAIA National Tournament. The Badgers would make 3 national tournament appearances in Mackin's 8 seasons on the Hill and were consistently nationally ranked. She finished her career with a 289, 138, and 4 record, coached 10 All-Americans, 25 All-Region, and 48 All-Conference student athletes. Mackin also served as both athletic director and assistant athletic director during her time at Spring Hill. Congratulations, Kobe Mackin, on your induction into the Spring Hill College Athletic Hall of Fame.
Well, this is a little different experience, I think, as a coach, because being inducted in the Hall of Fame is not something you really ever think about or strive for when you decide to go into coaching. So this is just icing on the cake to celebrate what we did, and I say that because it wasn't just me. There were a lot of people that were a big part of us trying to do something big and something new, and you know, I was actually hired as the assistant softball coach and aquatics director. My job was to supervise and train the lifeguards, and so the first thing I had to do before I could be a certified lifeguard instructor to certify the lifeguards that work for us is I had to become a lifeguard. So I took the test to be a lifeguard and a lifeguard instructor all at the same time, and all of a sudden I taught lifeguards how to do their job. So that was my first year, and softball was kind of the same thing. I didn't know what I was doing. I was 23, and I had never coached before, and you can ask Coach Sims and Joe why they hired me, but you know, I think I'm just so thankful they took a chance. We knew each other through the Gulf Coast Athletic Conference because I had worked in sports information at University of Mobile right after I graduated. And so we had that connection, and they took a chance on me. And they did. They hired me and said, well, you don't have a field, and you don't have any equipment, or, you know, there's no team, and it's April, but, like, let's do this. So they said, you're going to play the city park down the street. And I was like, I don't think we are going to do that. So I looked around campus and saw the field where we are now, and Coach Sims was like, well, it's not big enough. And he was right, it wasn't. It had a big hill in it. And, you know, I said, well, what if we shaved it down and, like, squeezed a fence in there and put it right on the road and hoped the balls didn't hit all the cars when they drove by. And somehow I convinced them, and they did that. So we didn't have to go to Sage Park to play our games. But, you know, in starting this program, it was really a team effort. And I would be remiss if I didn't let everyone know that Terry McCormick was as big of a part of it as I was. She and I were teammates in college. 4 years we spent pushing each other every single day. And when I got this job, you know, I just had the title of head coach, but she came on board as the assistant. You know, I think her assistant coach stipend did not even pay her gas bill to get across the bay to get here. So she really paid Spring Hill with her time to come and help start the program. And so she was a huge part of the philosophy and the foundation of what we built. And, you know, over the years, I would have people say, you know, how in the world did you get such a great group of overachievers? And that's what they would call our team, because we started off really successful really quickly. And I always felt kind of offended for them, because I'm like, they didn't overachieve. They they did what they were capable of. But Terry and I read a book, and it's called Hell Week. And it's, if you're familiar, it's the way that the Navy SEALs train their, the guys and girls that want to go in and hopefully make it into becoming a Navy SEAL. But the philosophy is that all of us in life, typically most people accomplish about 40% of what they're truly capable of doing, but they believe that they've maxed out, that that's what we're capable of doing. And so as I'm reading this book, and I'm like, you know what? Like, there's a lot of truth in here. And so what they would do in Navy SEAL training is take all of their, all of the people that were the cadets, or I'm not sure what they're called, but they would take them to that 40% threshold, like day one. We're gonna push you till you think you don't have another step to give. And they would get there, and then they would push them another step or two further. And then the next day out, they would come out and they're going to that threshold, and they would get them. And I mean, these people tell stories about how they think their life is going to end today. They have done everything they possibly can physically in this training, and they're not going to make it. And they get to that threshold, and then they push them another step or two further. And they do that day in and day out, and pretty soon what they thought was everything they were capable of, that 40%, they were way down the road in what they actually were able to accomplish. And so we just tried that because, again, I didn't know how to coach. So let's do that. So that's why, you know, Coach Sims would be like, why are your girls running this 3.5-mile interstate run? And I'm like, I know they don't need to be able to do that to hit a softball. But they need to be able to overcome that to do what our big dreams are for them. And they've said their big dreams are. You know, they didn't need to work out on a 100-degree tennis court on the asphalt and do a cross training, Colleen, just to be able to catch and throw. But they needed to go through that to be able to learn how to reach what they thought was their potential, and then push further and further and further so that they could see they were capable of a lot more than maybe what most people expected out of them. So I don't think they were overachievers. I think they were hard workers who rose to the occasion and met the expectations that we had for them. And I'm so proud of, you know, that first year team and all of them, because, you know, the whole time we were here, that's the way that we trained and pushed. And, you know, I think getting into coaching is not just, I mean, there's a reason that I started, and it was because when I was 10, I thought I want to figure out what I love to do in life and find a way to get paid for it. And I loved playing softball, and I got paid for it, but, you know, when I got to play professional and they pay you $900 a month on a 3-month contract, and that was your contract. Even 20 years ago, obviously, for female athletes, there wasn't a path there. And so I'm so thankful that Spring Hill College and Coach Nyland and Coach Sims gave me this opportunity to coach and to make a difference. Because to me, that's what I felt really called to do, and that's why I was here, and that's why I loved my time coaching at Spring Hill College, because I knew even back then, I'm like, I'm going to judge success not on our record, not because I'm glad you said it there, because I wouldn't have, off the top of my head, thought of what was our record, 43-17 our first year or something. Those aren't the kind of things that last, that stay with you. They don't, for female athletes, for sure, they don't change your life. But I think that the path of getting there and looking and going, if my athlete's life is different in 20 years, if it's better for having been in this program, then I will be successful. And when I look at Monica and so many in this room, and I think not just her success on the field, you know, 20 years ago, Monica, but her success as a mother and everybody that's here, your success in careers and in relationships and the ups and downs of life, and seeing that maybe some of those life skills that we learned about playing the game one pitch at a time, you know, focusing on the things that you can control. And I think those are the things that got them and me through the hard times, the really hard times in life. And, you know, if we can look back and judge that we maybe made an impact, Terry, that has lasted way more than whether or not we got to go to nationals, you know. that success to me. So I'm just so thankful, again, to the committee that they would think that, you know, a non-athlete, I mean, I didn't play here, played across the way, yep. Belinda and I were great teammates. Hey, and I got to give a shout out to Belinda because, again, I didn't know anything about coaching. I really didn't know anything about pitching. And I got this girl, Jennifer Cunningham, and she would still tell you, like, I'm third baseman, but I pitch. And I'm like, Jennifer, you're the best pitcher in the country. You're a pitcher that I'm also playing at third base when we've maxed out your arm, basically. But Belinda, when I got hired, I went to her and another pitcher, Nikki Wilson, that were my teammates the year before, and I was like, look, I have a new job, and I really know the game of softball, but I have no idea how to pitch. And I got this really good athlete coming in that's like probably needs some work and needs some training, and Belinda taught me how to pitch, and that's how I learned to have anything to give to Jip or any of the other girls. So we can thank University of Mobile pitcher Belinda Stein Barron for that. And you know, after I left Spring Hill and kind of had to make a shift in my life to start a family, these are my kids up front, and decided to take a step back from being a head coach. And I actually went to a Division I school across, University of South Alabama, and I got to pitch at a different level. And it's just, if you've experienced anything like that, it's a totally different world. It's not this. It's not community. It's not the relationships. It's not people texting on a text thread the rest of their life. It's win or go home. Really, win or you will be fired and someone else will come who's better than you. And I think the time here and the things that a college like this offers, and it's particularly Spring Hill College and the time that we had, is such a unique gift to life. It's not the business of college athletics. It's the relationships. It's growing individuals, and it's enhancing their life. Because again, our record and our successes, it didn't change anything for anybody, but the journey getting there, that's what made a difference. And so Spring Hill giving us an opportunity to start a softball program and give girls for the last 25 years a chance to change their life for years to come, that's why we do it. And I cannot thank you guys enough for losing the battle on the court and having to start softball so that we could do what we do, and really proud of the team that is carrying on what we do. So again, just want to thank Coach Sims. If y'all don't know the dynamic then, Coach Sims was the athletic director who hired me, but Joe was the dean of students. So Joe reported to Frank as a coach, and then Frank reported to Joe as the dean of students. So it was a real interesting time. It was great. But for that to work, you've got to know that there's chemistry and there's trust and there's respect. And Coach Fowler was there, and the late Coach Wolf Koch, and so many people that were there during that time that made that just such a really, really unique and special gift to us. So I want to thank the committee for just thinking that this is something we should do, because when Joe called me, I was like, wait, I thought we were talking about Monica and Jennifer, So I'm just humbled and thankful and still grateful for the opportunities that Spring Hill gives me and has given me.
And now we're going to recognize the 98, the inaugural softball team. Right.
the 1998 inaugural women's softball team. In the spring of 1997, under the guidance and push from then Spring Hill College on initiating softball on the Hill, Sims had recruited a young, energetic coach in Kobe Mackin, who went about developing a program from scratch. Mackin, the program won an amazing 43 games in their first season, which still ranks second in program history. That 1998 team set the stage for the 1999 team's GCAC championship and third place finish at the NAIA National Tournament, while also laying the foundation for Spring Hill College softball being one of the most successful programs in Spring Hill College athletic history. Congratulations to the 19
So I'm really thankful that Colleen could be here, and as Monica said, the whole team, almost the whole team, was here in March for an alumni weekend when we celebrated the 25th anniversary of starting the program. So I told you I was hired in April of 1997 to have a team in 98, and at that time all the Mobile and Baldwin County teams were still playing slow pitch in high school. So that's why a great gathering of everybody, but it just wasn't possible for most of them to be able to get back into town. But we had about, I've lost track, I need to go back and look at the picture, freshmen. And, Colleen represents the transfers, and she was part of that team. And I mean, the stories that this one could tell, she won't get in front of the microphone, and I'm probably very, very thankful.
Being professional all day.
You probably would not really think the same things about me if Colleen could tell you her stories, because she lived my complete experience and the whole fake it till you make it thing, because I really didn't know what I was doing. But so proud of this group. And like I said, I think one of their biggest achievements, they became nationally ranked in their first year. They just didn't let anybody's lower expectations stop them from what they wanted to accomplish. And even University of Mobile that year, I do remember your record was 50-2. They had 2 losses that year to this team. And that's one of those things I do remember, because beating my teammates was especially fun. And there's stories there too. But so proud of this team, and so thankful that they are honored. And they all have been getting text messages all week and all day today about how they wish they could be here. But they are truly honored and thankful that the schools recognize, what they did and what they started. And I think I forgot to mention, when we built that field, one of the first things that Colleen and this group did, Jip was a part of this, when we shaved down that hill that was out there. So there wasn't a budget to build a field, but I was determined, we can find someone to help us find some chain link and some windscreen, right? And we can get a tractor, and we can do this. So we literally rented our own sod cutter, and I didn't drive the tractor. Someone else cut the hill down for me, and we cut the sod, painted the infield, and got a sod cutter. And the girls are doing this number and cut the sod, and I was like, all right, carry it to the hill. So they had to take the sod off the infield and carry it out and put it where we had just shaved the hill off on the outfield. So if you guys think that raking the field's a little much,
No idea.
I mean, they literally built your field. So very thankful that these guys took I just took my crazy ideas, and here we are. So thank you again.
On behalf of the inaugural season, we'd like to leave this here with the college. If y'all could have this at the athletic center, it would be great, since they all can't be here. we'd love to leave that with y'all.
Thank you. When they were mentioned spending their own money, I saw Brian, our CFO, going, oh, that's what we need to do. Just one more time, let's have a round of applause for the I'd like to introduce our Vice President of Advancement and Enrollment, Nathan Copeland.
Can we give Joe Nyland a round of applause? This guy means a lot. So we've got a couple of options here. I can go through with my whole speech, or you can pick up this QR code on your table, get out your phone, and let's make some donations to the college. Serious, I got a speech. I can pull it out right now. All right, in all seriousness, there's two groups that I want to talk to because Joe said that I'm over advancement and admissions. To the children of the inductees, I hope you've had the opportunity to see what your parents have done. I hope you've had the opportunity to hear the stories that they've experienced at college, and I hope that you'll join us on the Hill when it's time. You've got a spot on the Hill. We'll make sure that happens, right? So join us on the Hill. It's no surprise that each of you are here because Spring Hill is a really important part of your life. Certainly the athletic portion is big, and Father Biscardi, if I can, I envy this group for two reasons. One, because of your experience on the Hill, and two, because of that sense of community that you got that's even a little deeper than we have from just the typical student body. You talk about those group texts, you talk about the community that you have. We're in a spot where we would love and we're looking forward to the next 200 years on campus. We're looking forward to the future for Spring Hill College, and we would love for you to help us get there. We know that we just had the Back the Badgers campaign, and it was extremely successful. There's one way, like I said tonight, you can get that QR code on your table, get your phone out, and there's instructions on there. If that doesn't work, don't worry, I'll be in touch. Everybody have a great night.
Thank you, Dr. Copeland. As I mentioned earlier, this was a great evening where we recognized our former student athletes. I know Chad's back there saying they're student athletes, not players, but the NCAA really harps on that. But they were truly student athletes, and these athletes excelled all the way from the late 50s to almost right up until today. And they spent a lot of time doing it, and we're very grateful, and that's what tonight was about. But it's also their contributions that our athletes have done over the years. When we walk around campus and you see Vera Hall, Skip Vera was a men's basketball player. Arthur Outlaw was a men's golfer. Andy McLaughlin has a plaque and helped redo parts of Quinlan Hall, men's basketball player. So Jerry Rubin, who was chairman of the board, men's basketball player. And in those days, Bill Gardner used to fly to New York City, the coach, take the guys out, the recruits to Mama Leone's and all that kind of stuff. We can't really do that today. They must have had a bigger budget back then. Jesuits were a little looser with the money, I think. But when you're invested as a student athlete, you spend more time on campus, you're here during breaks, you're here during Christmas a lot. So your investment into the college is a little bit more. And we've been very grateful and fortunate to have our student athletes support us. And so we want to continue this. Andy McLaughlin actually endowed this event. There's a little bit, Brian, don't take it, but there's a little bit of endowment to help carry this on, because when he was still alive as a board member, he thought this would be a great recognition for our former athletes. So I want to thank everybody for coming. I think it's a great evening. And again, let's honor the inductees one more time with a round. Thank you all for coming. Have a safe trip home and go Badgers.